front is barely on there. If lack of cooperation was the goal, this gets the gold medal. There's nothing gonna go easy on this. These screws are stripping out because they've been in here 100 years and they're rusty. Spinning the nuts, I guess. Surely they don't have nuts on them. If you got nuts, how would you ever get to them?
Yeah, I can't.
No, it's nut plates. So looks like I'm going to be cutting all the bolts off. There's part of the problem. That thing's 14. Wedged in there. Oh, well, no, that's not bolted. There. It don't look so pretty good either. Everything on here is rotted out. What a piece of junk. Yep, sweat in my mouth. Okay, so look at what I found inside this fender here. Running board. He wants to go around where you can see him. Look at the size of this guy.
It's a girl.
Girl, that's a girl?
Like Widow.
Oh, good point. Look at it. He's freaking huge.
Kill it.
Okay, he gone. I've got everything stripped off of it, except for windshield wiper transmission parts, which I might go ahead and take those off too. That's only 4 more bolts, but I've got to figure out where to cut the rocker panels and look up inside here. So that's a C10 or a C truck problem. And I want to cut this panel out. You see the new one here? I want to cut this out and blast while it's open. I want to cut the rockers and blast while they're open. But here's something to notice. Go to the front. So this is a C10 rocker panel, but look at the difference. The C50 is way back here. So it's the same, only different. I'll have to cut this. It's not a big deal, but I'm going to cut the old ones off. Through. I don't know exactly what I'm cutting. That was a mistake, but that'll weld back up. That rocker really wasn't that bad, but too late now. How nice is that? Very little rot, just a little bit right here. The inner rocker's so nice that I'm glad I didn't buy new ones. I'm going to spot weld it and seam seal it, because how many of you are ever going to look up on the roof of a dump truck? Don't say you, because you're not. I know you're not. You'll get in here, go for a ride, and you'll be so amazed at the stick shift and how good it works and how nice it is inside that you'll never even look up. Now I've got to air chisel that, but I'm going to kind of blow this out a little bit. I'm tired of living in rat crap. Yeah. That's the way you sandblast. No 80-pound bags of sand for this boy. 3,000 pounds a time. It's a dirty job, but someone's got to do it. That someone's usually me. There's my day. So it was a whole day sandblasting the cab. But there's a lot of real estate there. You got all that underneath the floor. Underneath looks just like the top. It's clean. So I have blown for probably an hour. Every nook, every cranny, every passage, every floor brace, till there just isn't any more sand coming out. So now I'm not afraid to primer it with a anyway, that's the result of sweat. on bare metal. And that is guaranteed to create paint problems. I don't even want that on my cheap paint job. So I'll be treating it with some acid, but for today, the main thing is to get everything blasted because the sky doesn't look good. Debbie's not here today. This is Saturday. She's out looking for stuff at the farmer's market for 4th of July. That's a mess. That's where the battery sat here and leaked acid down. I'll have to fix that. Once it's blasted, it's not nearly as bad. But I've got all these parts yet to do. And I want to get my Volkswagen backbone blasted. Look at that. So I call this thing Operation Snowball lovingly because I didn't intend to do this. I really just wanted to Scotch-Brite it and clean it up. But when you have the rust that they evidently all have and sticks, it's just so hard to work with that. I'll cut all that out past the rust, and I got fresh metal to work on. And honestly, it didn't take any longer to do a complete sandblast than it would to Scotch-Brite it. So I'm already out here doing this stuff. What's the point? But that's how a quick project, for me anyway, turns into a massive rebuild, because one thing leads to another. Check that out. I'm down to basically my last piece of the body, but I got all of those parts sandblasted this morning. I've got the 2 inner fenders blasted and like everything else on this truck. Every piece of this truck, except for like that, the heavy duty pieces, the fender brackets and that cowl. Every other piece has got rust in it. You can see the rust right there. Fender's rusted out. That extension's rusted out. Well, there it is. That's the last body part, at least I think. I can't imagine anything else hiding out here. So this is blasted inside and out. And I didn't get too carried away on the sheet metal because it's so easy to warp. This, I don't know what happened here. Something has poked a hole in it, and then they bondoed this whole area. They just beat it back out and bondoed it. Well, that bondo obviously doesn't last. Water got underneath it and rotted it out. So I'll be putting a panel in that whole square foot area there, and I will sand the rest of it with a DA, and I'll have to do some shrinking and cooling to get it to not tin can. There's a few holes in the side, but the side of the one on the truck is just all rotted out. There's that, but they're not made to last 50 years. So I'm going to make this one last 50 years. I'll fix all that sheet metal, and I'll fix drain holes, and I'll fix things. Of course, it's never going to be in the dirt like it was its first half of its life. I figure that it'll be kind of a city truck, a city dump truck. I'll use it here to haul stuff off and use it to haul dirt at the house and tree limbs. That's the main thing I got it for. We've got so many trees. I can get up into bed and cut them and drop them right into the bed of the thing. So it'll never be hauling chicken litter or, you know, the kind of stuff that it did, maybe corn grain, and then sit out in the Kansas sun and let the rain get in it. So it's going to have a sheltered life from here on. So I want to make it nice. I figure after I'm finished with it, Nick and Alex will use it for a long time because it's going to be a nice truck. I do look forward to mounting my nice new Sumitomo tires on them. They're street tread tires. They're not mud tires, but I'll never use it in the mud. So I'm looking forward to the looks. I hope I can lower its attitude a few inches. That's yet to be seen. wanted to get this done, and that's about 4,000 pounds of sand, I figure. So it's another day, and another day on this bare metal rusty old truck. I wanted to show you what happens. So when you blast something that's beautiful and clean, that's just the sweat off of my gloves. You can see where my shirt leaned up against that hood. I'm going to zoom in here on this Volkswagen floorboard where I picked it up with my sweaty gloves. So that's just par for the course. Look right here on the back of the cab. You can't paint over that, and it's going to happen. Some people think, well, you get the primer on it ASAP. You're not. You just be primering over the top of that, even though it's not shown its face yet. It's there. So that's going to cause pimpling and problems in your paint. It's on every piece. Every piece I touched is, my beautiful bare metal wheels. So you can't just primer over bare metal. And some people might think you can, and more power to them. I don't care. That's your way of doing it. This is my way. So I'm treating every piece, and I'm doing this ASAP. See that gold look? I just washed that I use a PPG product, and I found out I've used it for, decades. But for some reason now I can't get it. Our parts store that we've always got PPG through has stopped selling PPG, and we can't even find it online. I don't know what they're trying to do. It used to seemed like I remember decades ago is $20 a gallon. Now it's $100 a gallon, which is nothing compared to what PPG's done to the price of paint. They've destroyed the market. They've got the best products in my opinion, but they've destroyed painting cars. So anyway, I'm going to order a Summit version of it, and I've got just about a half a gallon left of the good stuff from PPG, but Summit now makes a version of it for like $30 a gallon, and you coat it with this. I'd spray it on out of a bottle, and then the heavy rust I scrub with a Scotch-Brite. But I'll turn this around. Once I get the rust scrubbed off of it, you rinse that off with clean water and then blow dry it or set it out in the sun. If you set it in the sun, you're going to have more gold look than that, and it scares some people, and you have to remove it. If you leave it on there, the only way to get it off, paint thinner won't touch it, water won't touch it. You have to use more of it. You have to re-wet it with the acid. It's a phosphoric treat. Some say it's zinc and others say it's iron. I don't know what it is. Don't even care. Not a chemist. But it removes the rust and coats the metal in that gold look, and that gold look is what you really want. It's now able to bond paint, and it's a little more resistant to rust. You can actually touch it and it's not going to turn to rust like I just showed you. It's so bad. That metal treat that I'm talking about, the metal conditioner from PPG, when I say that it can sit for a long time and not rust after it's been treated, I want to give you an example. So my Nova I got in 1977 happened to be the day that Elvis Presley died. I went to the dealership. I actually got that at Selman Chevrolet in Orange, California when I was in a junior in high school. So that was a really nice original California car when I got it, and I stripped it. I painted it in 77, I believe, candy apple green and silver, just like it is the same paint scheme it is now. That's actually candy apple blue over black with metallic in it. And I repainted that in 2015. Is that right?
Yeah, I
think it's 2015. I dug it out of storage. So from the inspection sticker on the window, back then we used to get inspections. I think the last one was 1983. So about 83 or 4, I stripped that car to bare metal, and it sat, and I drove it a little bit. I put a blown small block in it and never did get around to painting it. But what I did is I used that this acid that I'm talking about, and I'd keep it cleaned with that acid, and then I parked it, and it stayed parked from 85 probably to, Debbie remembers when we got this shop, after we had this shop, I dug it out because it had accumulated a little bit of rust, not a lot. It sat in the back shop on a dirt floor, and I mean for years and years and years. So Debbie acid treated it in, what year did you say?
97.
So 97. So it set from 83 or 85, I don't know. I stripped it in about 80, let's just say 85.
So 12 years.
So it sat for 12 years, basically on a dirt floor. Part of the time it was inside my lower shop, but most of the time it was on dirt floor out back in bare metal. And it never really rusted. There was a few places where we'd touch it and push it around, or water dripped on it that it got a little bit of rust. But the car did not turn to like that 34 Ford right there. You would think 12 years of raw metal would look like that, but it didn't. It stayed pretty much shiny metal. It looked like these pieces here on the floor. It actually looked better than that. It never had that much of a gold tinge to it. So when you treat that metal with that stuff, that's testimony that that thing, it can sit in raw metal. It just won't, you can't rain on it, you can't sweat on it, but humidity and atmosphere isn't going to just turn it into rust like raw metal will. I painted that car again in 2015. I dug it out to build it for drag week and put the turbo big block in it and redid the work that I did in 1981 to the rear end. I narrowed that 12, it was a 12 bolt at that time. I narrowed the 12 bolt and put 10-inch wide slot dish mags in underneath it, just like it is there in 1981. And so in 2015, I dug it out and redid it and put a 9-inch in it and stripped the, it was still, I had primered it and it sat in primer for a few years. And I actually, I guess I don't remember exactly. I think I went over the top of that primer and did the body work on it. But anyway, it came back to life in 2015 and it lasted a few years until we built this. And I pulled the engine out of it for Alex to use. And now it's still got the turbos in it, still got all the Holley stuff in it. It just doesn't have a transmission and a motor. Someday I'll put it back together. But that's silver base with black, with candy blue, with metal flake on top of that, or under the candy blue. And then the roof is actually lace pattern. You can't see it here, but it's candy blue with lace on top of it. So it's actually two different colors of candy blue. It looks really good. Maybe it's time to get this thing back out. If you guys think I should bring it back, put the turbo big block in it, upgrade it to methanol because it was on E85 back when it was running 7s. Maybe I should bring it back out and make the next 6-second car out of this thing. Let's blow the comments up. Let me know what you think. It's still a pretty nice old car. It's just part of doing sandblasting and bare metal work. I've used it forever and ever and ever. But I know, so years ago, I mean back in the 80s before I even knew this stuff existed, we were painting with lacquer. I've seen cars that I've done that I took to bare metal and actually seen handprints. You could read a thumbprint through the paint, you know, months later after you painted it. And we didn't know, or I didn't, to make sure that there was none of that. I'd wipe it with whatever, rags, wipe and wax and grease remover, and still end up with contaminated steel because that acid off of your skin, sweat especially, and here in Arkansas we sweat a lot when the doors are open. I'm not right now. This is from being outside this morning, but in here it's almost cold. So what I've got to do, I've got to go outside and I've got to treat everything with this acid, rinse it off, dry it off, and then it becomes bare metal that will survive a little while. Would you look at that? Just look at that. That's what you want to see. It's all got its little gold tinge to it. It's all rust free, no more sweaty handprints. That's what you want right there. All that stuff is ready for epoxy primer. see how far I can get with what I have here. Okay, so this just kind of needs to soak a little while. Wash out behind that brace, because not only does it have acid, it has a lot of sand and glass beads. If I let the water sit on there and dry, it can cause a little bit of surface rust, no big deal, but I like to blow them off till I get that gold tint. Okay, that makes me happy. Look at that nice gold tint. No dried chemical on there. That piece is ready for primer. We got all those parts treated, almost all of them. We still have some stuff, big parts, the hood and the inner fenders, but I don't need those as quickly as I need this cab. So I've decided to go ahead and move it out, and part of it's not treated. So it's always nerve-wracking doing the big body, because where I'm spraying water on this thing that doesn't have acid, guess what? It's turning to rust. So I have to think of all the times you and I have treated bare metal cars. Think of the 55 Chevys and the Nomads and the DeSotos and the everything that we've ever done, trucks. You and I have done this a lot.
Sometimes I had to do it over.
Yeah. Remember coming home with a freshly dipped 55 Nomad. And it was late. We got home late from Mississippi. It was dipped in a tank and removed to bare metal. Every piece of insulation or body caulk was removed. And we got home late, and I thought, oh, it'll be okay. I'm not going to go put it in the shop. It was on the trailer. Next morning, I come out, and the thing was rust because it had dewed on it. Okay, so it's time, getting ready to put some epoxy primer on. So this is the old stuff, DP50, or the one that I use the most of, DP90. Summit has come out with their own DTM, direct to metal epoxy primer. And this is the first time I've opened a can of it. I'm pretty impressed with the viscosity. It's got some, it's 1:1. So this stuff is 2:1. So you use a catalyst in it, 2 quarts to 1 gallon. This stuff's 1:1. So even though it's thicker, I'm sure it'll thin down just a little bit here with this catalyst that I'm going to put in it. But smells pretty good. It doesn't smell weak like one might expect for a cheaper product. But I'm getting ready to mix it up. I'm going to do a little trick here. Some of you may or may not know. This is always for me. I'm going to poke some holes around the ring of this. That way, after I pour this and make a mess in the ring, it'll drain out. First impressions. I like the way it mixed. I liked the catalyst. I liked everything except Debbie said, "What's that smell?" So I don't know. What could it be? She said, "Smells like shrimp." Oh, yeah, it kind of stinks. It doesn't have a real good sweet smell to it, but I can deal with the smell as long as the stuff works good. So far so good. It covers really well. It covers just like PPG does. My plan was to actually weld the rockers in and cut the floors out and repair them, get the roof patch put in before I actually epoxy primered it, but I just didn't have time, and I knew it'd be a while before I could get back to it, so I'll do that later. So far so good. I have no complaints. The finish looks great, it sprays great, it covers great. I have zero complaints. We'll see what it's like when we do body work, but so far I'm expecting it to be awesome. I'm gonna spray the firewall here, and then I'm gonna do the roof, but you can watch how it covers on the firewall because I've been spraying inside. It's a little bit hard to see. So you saw it yesterday. It was acid washed and it was gold like this, but it had the white dried acid and the residue from the phosphate on it. So this morning Debbie and I took red Scotch-Brites and just Scotch-Brite every inch of it. And I did a little bit of dent. I put a dent in this thing with my forklift the other day. I was so proud of the back of that cab and I dented it. But I used my stud puller, pulled those out, pulled some dents out on the roof up here. I cut the studs off that was chrome right there because that was for a two-tone truck. Red bottom, white top. This is going to be solid white, so I didn't need those. Ideal. This is this stuff with the acid, and the acid that's in that metal conditioner has got that so ready for primer. It's going to adhere so well to that. You won't be able to take it off with a chisel. So that's what it looked like. I don't think we recorded it this morning. We should have, but we didn't. But anyway, that was what the whole truck looked like. And I'm getting ready to do the roof now, and then we'll come back here and finish this cab. And then I get to go underneath. Okay, and that's that. So I'm going to lay down and paint the floorboard up underneath. It really won't take that long, and I don't even have to. I'm going to put bed liner on it, but I'm going to put bed liner on top of epoxy primer, so it's double sealed, and most of that floor, as you see, will be cut out anyway. That part I don't like. I'm going to have to cut it out, make my new floors, and grind the epoxy primer off to weld it. but that's going to be a while, and I don't want it sitting around here rusting. So I'll come back when we paint some more parts, but right now I'm a fan. And I have a rack up above. I could hang probably all these parts on that rack, but I can't get in my paint booth. It's clogged up with drag slicks and Camaros that are parked in there. So I'm not wanting to take the time to do that. So I'm just spraying outside. And I've actually got a rolling rack that I could hang this stuff on, but I don't have time for that either. It's all about time right now. I don't have time to be doing this, period. So I'm just doing it ASAP. Okay, I think, how many 1971 C50 dump trucks have you ever seen where they restore the inner fenders and the brake pedal assembly? This thing's going to be nice. Nicer than it should be. Rust repair there, and it just disappeared. When you raise the hood on this thing, it's going to have a nice shiny orange small block, and it's going to have black fenders. So I'll paint these black and the pedals black. Have all new carpeting, all new seat covers, all new windows, power windows, air conditioning. A really nice, fully synchronized 5-speed overdrive transmission. I was worried I wouldn't have enough. I'm going to have just enough and just a little bit left. That's classy. That's just primer. It's going to dry flat, but it looks so good. It's the stuff I'm going to put on here. I can't remember, did we get semi-gloss or shiny?
Semi-gloss, I think.
Maybe. It'll still look good. Man, that's pretty. That looks like a custom inner fender. It's just a big, gnarly piece. It's heavy. I'm just spraying this up because I don't want to pour it out. How much better can you get than that? Okay, what you talking about, Willis? So today got that done, the cab's primered, all the acid etching cleaned up. You know, we Scotch-Brighted, Debbie and I did everything. And let's go in here and look at the rest of the parts. So most everything there is fixed, or I'm not going to fix it. Let's see. The running boards have to have a lot of hammering. Once this epoxy's dry, I can put them on the anvil and beat them with a heavy hammer. I just didn't want to do it today. I don't like touching the stuff when it's in bare metal because I will rust it. I'm very acidic. So I'll beat those running boards straight. These fender extensions get some Bondo. The rest of this stuff here is all good and ready to go. So the only thing left is this. You can see I'm gonna have to replace this whole lower section. This is supposed to turn out. This is where the battery sat above it and dripped acid and rotted it out. So I gotta fix that. It's actually good up here where I fixed the other one. I gotta cut these fenders up. These I dread. There's lots of, you can see that whole piece will have to be fabbed. That front's just smashed in, the top smashed in. It's gonna take some big hammering. I'll use my big ball peen. The fender's straight. It's just the flare that's bad. And when I fix this, it's gonna have a big hole on the inside where anything that runs down in there will run out. That was GM's. They were smoking crack that day, and they did not provide drain holes. So naturally, and this would be every C50 or 40 or 60 on the planet, has got dirt and leaves and everything else accumulates in there. If yours isn't rotted out yet, it's probably about to be, because there's no excuse for it to not rot out. So I'm gonna repair that and make it right. And there's several other places that I'm doing the same thing. I'm making things where it'll drain, and even if it gets leaves in there, it's gonna wash the leaves out. They just didn't provide for that. So the doors are ready, all that stuff's, you know, getting close to ready. I gotta fix these 3 pieces, and you've seen the cab. I gotta cut all the floor holes, all that rusted floor out, but that's cake. I mean, that's, for me, that's my second nature. I can make panels quicker than I can Bondo them. So that'll come next time. We'll see you next time.